Welcome back to the show, Disruptors. I'm your host, Aaron Hale, and this is Point of Impact. And the question of the day is, what are you an expert at? What are you passionate about and so knowledgeable in that you could teach others? And would you like to make a profit while doing so? Today's guest is doing just that. He took his knowledge, his expertise, and he's profiting by creating digital content, online courses that others can subscribe to. And his online content is available 24/7, so he can profit from his knowledge while he's asleep, while he's out at dinner, on vacation. James Allen, host of Profit Your Knowledge, is an online educator and coach. He didn't stop just there. Not only is he teaching others, he's teaching others how to teach others. Profit Your Knowledge and his online courses are designed to teach that others. His podcast and his online courses are available to those who are experts in a field and want to learn how to create digital content. And we talk about sales funnels, lead magnets, emails, and creating all this, creating a system simplified so that both you and your potential customers can profit from their knowledge. We talk about all sorts of things, from how to find out what your expertise is and how to build these systems. I also ask him a couple questions that I think are a bit paradoxical. One being, how do you put out all this free content online, whether it's on social media or blogs, or one of his favorite platforms is YouTube? But how do you put out all this information and still have enough in reserve to put into an online course that somebody is willing to pay you for? Another question being, and another paradoxical question being, if the ultimate goal is passive, and by passive, I mean it doesn't require your immediate attention to profit from. If the ultimate goal is this passive income through online courses, he's a coach and others are coaches, which is an active income. You have to be present, whether it's one-on-one or small group coaching, but you got to be present for that. So why create all of this passive funnel just to get to this active income? James answers both those questions and a whole bunch more. And this is a fantastic conversation. I really enjoyed it. I think you are too. Before we get into it, I want to ask you for a quick favor. Please like, subscribe, leave a review, give it 5 stars, and share the show with somebody else. It goes a long way to make an impact. And this episode, you'd be making an impact by helping others make an impact. And with that, and without further ado, my conversation with James Allen. James, welcome to Point of Impact. I'm so glad to have you here.
Yeah, dude. Pumped to hang out and talk about this. This is the fun stuff. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you having coming on, because of course I was a guest on your show, and I appreciate you returning the favor.
Yeah.
Or doing me the favor of being on the show. Tell me, you are an educator, a coach, and you teach others how to use their knowledge to earn passive income through these training courses and online platforms. Tell me, how did this come about? In fact, why don't we start from the beginning? A little background and how you get up to today.
Yeah, so I'll keep it brief, but basically I was in high school and I was finishing high school, and I had 2 options really. It was either go to college, which is what my mom pushed, and get my AA, my general education, out of the way just so I could always fall back on that, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then my dad was really pushing me to go into construction work, where I was being the highest paying plumbing union in the world and have crazy good benefits. And that's where he basically found success. And he's like, this is the best thing I can offer you, so I want you to do that. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was either college or go make money right away. So I started, and I was like 18. I just started making like $25, $30 an hour, and with like really good benefits and everything right off the bat. And I was getting college credits because I had to go to school for that. And about a year and a half or so into that, I realized that I don't like this. Like I'm capable of doing it, but I just don't like the work. It's not that I'm lazy or anything. And I just dreaded going to work every day. And I just remember telling myself, like, I wish that I had a job where I could get paid to help other people do something meaningful. And for me, I really want to just like see people enjoy the work that they do. Really, I'd like to see more than that. I'd like to see people, I want it to be normal where you bump into someone that you knew from high school or whatever into the in the grocery store, and like you could tell that they're happy, they're healthy, they have good relationships with their friends and family, and they're doing work that they enjoy, and they're able to provide for the people they love. Like I wish that was normal for people, but it's always something's missing. It's like bad relationships, bad health, or they hate their job, which is the big one. And I didn't know what that would be for me. So I found out about coaching and life coaching and stuff like that. And I got into personal development at a really young age. So it was really big to me. And I just kind of went into that. I ended up getting certified through a coaching institute called the Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey, climbed the certification ranks. And then I finally decided I'm going to go for this. So I left construction, went into coaching, and it was just like such a shift, construction to coaching. I just flipped the coin completely over. And I had to learn a ton of skills and everything, and I was getting some clients and stuff like that, but the more I worked with people, the more general I felt. And when it came to marketing, I realized that that's pretty difficult to market. You have to be specific with what you do, and the more specific you can be, the better. But I had to find like a good line. So I ended up getting into productivity coaching, working with more clients, and that's where I found out about digital products, because I was really obsessed with like, how can I work fewer hours in my business and still be able to grow it, and help other people work fewer hours, just manage their time better, because I learned a lot about how to do that for myself. And then I found a really good mentor, Graham Cochran, and I learned from his mentor, because I like to find the mentors that I have who are their mentors, and his mentor was Ramit Sethi. And both of them taught this business model of what I do now and what I've learned, and now I help my clients with. And I basically made a digital product, but I had built like 6 different digital products that just didn't make me any money. And I put a ton of time into them. So it's so frustrating when you put all this time and then it doesn't sell. And they taught me like the right way to do it. So I'm just going to follow the system straight through. And I did it. It took me a couple months. I built my program, built the whole system and everything. And once I launched it, I remember making $200 in my sleep. And I was like, whoa, that was cool. Because I've done like $5,000, even $10,000 days at that point. And that's awesome. It's really cool to make that good amount of money, but then you have to commit to like your clients and that sort of stuff. And just to know that I made $200 literally while I was sleeping, I freaked out, almost gave my girlfriend a heart attack. It was just like the coolest thing. And then a few weeks later, I made another sale. To my surprise, I was like, maybe it was just like a one-off thing. And it was $297, so $300 this time. And it was just a higher level of the same program that I had made, 2 different tiers. And at that point, I kind of thought like, wow, if I can do that once, I can do it, 100 times or 1,000 times over. And then I met with my clients and, just normal day. And I always ask them, what's a win since the last time we spoke? And some of them wanted to know what my wins were. They're like, what are you working on? What have you done? And I told them like, I built this program, built the system and stuff, and it was selling. And I was explaining like how it could work for them and their business. And a lot of them were different coaches and entrepreneurs. And they're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, you think you can help me with that? And I'm like, I guess like it relates to productivity, because I had this insecurity of like, am I qualified to teach this stuff? Because I had built like a multi 7-figure business or even 6-figure business at the time, or anything. So I helped this one woman. And her name was Carmen. She was a fitness coach, never really did anything online. She was terrified, petrified of being on camera. So I coached her through all that stuff because that's a necessary part of being in an online business. Like, you don't have to, but you should be on video, I think. And we could talk about that if you have questions. And she sent me a screenshot of like a couple weeks after we had launched her program, which took some time to build. And it was like $1,500. And I was like, what? That's so cool. And she was so excited about it. And I thought, wow, I could actually like do this. I can help other people. And that her niche is fitness. It's not a make money online niche, which is another concern that people have. And I just decided to put my, my flag behind this career and just decide that this is what I want to do because I'm obsessed with it. And, that's what I love learning about. And there's obviously a huge need for other people. So yeah, that's pretty much my story of how I got into it.
That's fantastic. And I truly believe that, I think it was Tony Robbins that said that success without contribution is the ultimate failure, or something like that. I botch every quote I ever.
It's good enough. I get it.
but that's fantastic. And the thing is, the more value you add into the system, and this is what people just don't seem to understand nowadays, is that the more value you add into the system, the more reward you get in the end. It's the go-giver philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's as laws of reciprocation and all of that. So you found a system that works with digital products, and essentially you're multiplying your minutes and hours. You don't have to teach individuals. You can record it. And why don't I let you explain it a little bit more? Can you go a little bit more, expand a little bit more into these digital products, and who's your customer? Who can benefit from this?
Yeah, so this is actually a question I get a lot, and I sometimes have to turn people away when they're interested in working with me. They'll book a call, and I'm like, sometimes a lot of times I'm having conversations. A lot of times it comes through my systems that I have, and they'll ask me like, hey, can you help me like sell more pillows in my business, like e-commerce stuff? And I'm like, no, that's not really me. So I have to turn them around, try and point them into another direction where someone could be more useful. I like to think about it just as simple terms of like, let's say you had a lot of experience with plumbing and you wanted to turn that into a business. You could start a plumbing business, or you could take all that knowledge that you had about plumbing and teach people how to do their own plumbing, or make it faster or something like that. Same thing if you had built a big plumbing business, you can take all that knowledge you have and then teach other people how you built a successful plumbing business, and the different things you had learned and whatnot about scaling and all that sort of stuff, hiring employees, etc. So I'm more of the guy who helps you teach things online. And a lot of people I work with are obviously coaches, authors, speakers, because we're teaching stuff. And that movement is just becoming really big. And I love helping those type of people. I was nervous actually when I was getting into this sort of niche about being like the coach who coaches coaches to coach other coaches. And that's not always true. Like I help people teach, but like that one woman, Carmen, she was a coach and she taught online, but she was just helping like women over 40 just get into better shape, and yeah, it's just if you have knowledge in something that you are passionate about and you see yourself basically creating content and being able to travel and have that laptop sort of lifestyle, which is what I dreamed of for so long, you can achieve that by teaching stuff, and just get out there. And that's really what content is, just teaching things, and then turn that into digital products, which is just teaching, and your lead magnets and all these different pieces. Like it's all just sharing the things that you know and that you're passionate about and that you're skillful at.
All right. So I've recognized the industry term lead magnet. Can you explain that a little bit more? Go a little more in detail. What is a lead magnet?
Right. So let me explain just real quick, like back of the napkin, the system. And when I explain it to people, they're like, oh, that's really simple. But executing the system is where it gets challenging. That's where people end up hiring me to help them. The system basically is 4 parts. You make content online. It could be social media, YouTube, blog posts, podcasts. YouTube, blog posts, and podcasts are the best if you want to make passive income because they don't require your constant engagement. For example, I can make a YouTube video from 3 years ago and it can still get discovered and bring leads to my business even though I'm hanging out in Hawaii or whatever I'm doing. Social media post, you post it, it'll get some traction, then it gets lost in the feed and then people forget about it. So evergreen content is what ideally we want to focus on. So like YouTube and blog posts and podcasting works great as well. So that's like the first piece is the content. And then you have your lead magnet. And this is where the purpose of the lead magnet is to first lead with value. So people find you online. They're like, wow, this is really cool. This person, I like the way they teach. That makes sense. All these complicated things I'm trying to figure out. I like this person. And then inside of it, you offer something free, which is another piece of content, but it's just gated behind an opt-in, which means they have to give you their email address or contact information to get this piece of content. And when people do that, that gets them onto your email list, which if you study anything about digital marketing, the money's in the list. That's what people teach, and it's true. When you build up an email list, it's more targeted than just a YouTube channel, because like a YouTube video can reach a lot more people, but not everybody's going to opt into your list. These people are more committed, especially when you make a good lead magnet, which I'll get into in just a minute. And then from there, when people opt in, that triggers the system where you have emails that automatically send to them. You can send them straight to a page where it has videos. Like there's a lot of ways that you can play the game, but you're adding more value and it takes people down your little marketing funnel. And eventually it points people to a sales page that says, here's the product, here's how much it is. Do you want to buy it? And it's just automating that whole system. So really it's just automating the sales process for people. But a lead magnet is really a critical piece because that's the thing that kickstarts the entire system. So the more people that pick up your lead magnet, the more people go through your funnel. And the more traffic you have going through your funnel, the more offers you're making, and it's all happening passively. Lead magnets can be confusing, but there's a lot of ways that there's a lot of formats. You can do like PDF guides or checklists. You can do quizzes. You can do workshops. You can do videos. Like there's a ton of different ways, but I like to think of them in really simple terms and ask myself the question of what is a persistent problem that my audience faces, and how can I quickly solve that with a short PDF or a video? And that's really it. So an example is I have a friend and past coach of mine named Greg Faxon, and what he does is help coaches fill up their client roster. And I worked with him, and he was really good at what he does. And he has a lead magnet because his audience is coaches. One of the biggest problems that coaches face is, where do I find clients? How do I get my next client? Where's my next set of clients coming from? I don't know. I want to have consistent clients. Like, how do I get clients? That's the big question. And 9 out of 10 coaches have that. So it's persistent among the industry. So he made a really short guide that's about 3 pages long, and it's just bullet points, and it's called 21 Ways to Find Potential Clients. And what it does is it's short, and it gives them a bunch of ideas about like going to live events. You can interview your audience. You can strike up conversation. Like it just gives you a huge list of ideas and like a short description on how to execute it. So you can be like, oh, cool. I didn't even think about going to a live event where my audience is and that I would even like to go to that event already. And now I can just strike up conversation and invite them to a call, So it solves a very persistent problem that people have by giving them ideas on how to solve that problem.
So this is that next step in the lead funnel. And you mentioned that before as another common industry term, the funnel. And can you explain what that means? Like, what do you mean by your deal funnel?
Like a funnel? Well, a funnel is basically it's incremental steps that nurture someone and educate them and kind of prime them really to teach them. And even if someone doesn't buy your product, they should still get value from it. So there's a lot of stuff in digital marketing where it's like you tease people and just keep them on the edge, and then you say your product and like, this is how you solve the whole problem. I think that there's a fine line of like, you want to be teaching them, but not teach them too much and get in the nitty gritty too much. And it's just doing this throughout your funnel. And another part of a good funnel is breaking and rebuilding false beliefs, which is something I've learned from Russell Brunson that's been really helpful, and it makes total sense. But that's really like the purpose of your funnel. Basically, like you get discovered on YouTube and someone's watching your video and they're like, oh, this person's cool. And inside of it, you say, by the way, like what I'll say is one of my big lead magnets is I have a 5-step guide to help you earn your first $500 per month of passive income. And it converts very well. So people watch my video and then I mention, by the way, I have this guide if you want to dive deeper into this, tie it to one of my points I teach. And then there's a link in the description. So people are like, oh, that's cool. They go to my description, they click on it, they give me their email address. Now they're just on that next step of my funnel as soon as they give me the email address. And then the next piece is my emails, which I automatically send over the course of 5 days that teach more and then transition into being like, by the way, I have a really cool product. If you like my emails up until this point, you're going to love this product. It goes fully into everything I've been teaching you. And then it goes to a sales page. So it's just taking people like down this funnel, if you will, and taking them through the steps to like educate them, build trust and stuff, and then say, here's my product, it's going to be awesome.
So the way I imagine it is that the YouTube videos, they're out there for anybody who's looking and searching. And what you're doing is trying to weed out all the non-customers. So people search for your content online. And from there, you give them a little gift with a lead magnet in exchange for their email address or their contact information.
Yep.
And then that brings them into the next, that next level of the funnel, wherein you give them a little more content, a little more value, and somewhere along the line, you start getting into the paid information, that knowledge-based stuff that becomes the passive income. There's a bit of a paradox there. In I think Russell Brunson did mention this, is that your online course could be the exact same information you're putting out in the free content on YouTube, except it's condensed, right? You could spend hundreds of hours watching YouTube content, or you could take this course and it's a more direct path to the knowledge you want. But I mean, there's a paradox there where what information? How do you parse that out? What do you share for free? What do you put in your course? How do you condense all of that? And how do you choose what that lead magnet's going to be? In fact, a lot of times I found that those lead magnets could have been a 5-minute video as well on your YouTube. So how do you dissect all that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. The difference between paid and free content. There's a really common term called teach the what, sell the how in marketing. And I think it applies to certain areas. For example, like a workshop, you want to teach because you have, if you just like scratch the surface, like so minimal on everything you taught, that it wouldn't get people excited about what's to come next. And you still want them to walk away from a training feeling like, I could use this, But at the same time, it's like you don't want to get too deep into the nitty gritty because it overwhelms people, it can confuse people, and that harms sales. So I think when it comes to sales, that rule applies more in like a workshop or different training like that if you're trying to sell something. But we could talk even more about that as well. But when it comes to just like YouTube videos, like teach everything. And I see that people take that teach the what, sell the how, and they apply it to like YouTube videos, since we're on that topic. And I think it's annoying, honestly. Like you shouldn't sell in your YouTube videos. The YouTube video or free content you put out has a purpose, and that's to get discovered by your audience, build trust with them to show that I'm legit, I know what I'm talking about, and you can test this stuff yourself, which builds trust. Because if they see me and then they try what I told them, they're like, oh, that worked. I made money from this free YouTube video, or I got a result. I, got in better shape. I got my next date, like whatever it is that you teach, they get real results. And then in every video, you're offering this lead magnet that gets people deeper in. Again, the lead magnet, the content side of it, it can pretty much be anything, but I just like to think about it. What's really simple, and I learned this from Ramit Sethi, is that question of what is a persistent problem my audience faces, and how can I quickly solve it in a short PDF or video. And that's it. So it's solving that persistent problem. And again, not everyone's going to dive into that from your free content. Your free content is more like buckshot, I think about it, or it's like a flashlight, if you will. It's very broad and out there, it's just like, because you're testing ideas, you're seeing what resonates with people. You also have to appeal to a wide audience. Like if you want to get more views, you have to think about being more broad with kind of the topic that you're talking about to appeal to the masses in your niche or what you're teaching,
How do people learn? Like, how do people find out that they've got this particular niche information? They're an expert in something, but how do they find out if there's actually a demand for that particular niche or that education?
Right. Well, let me finish up with the paid content, because like the paid content, like I said, free content's more like a flashlight. The paid content's more like a laser beam. So it's just taking the best content that you have and then putting it into a step-by-step system. Because like you said, people can waste so much time on YouTube videos trying to find the right one, trying to find the right teacher that resonates with them, that it clicks with, you know. But if they find a good teacher, they dive in, it solves a persistent problem with the lead magnet. They teach more in the email sequence, and then the product is like, this is streamlined, and everything's checking off the boxes on the sales page of like, I need this, you know, then they're going to check out your product. But yeah, it's just like people buy transformation. That's the point of your course that you make, and you put that together. In terms of finding, like, if you have a bunch of ideas, like, what do I actually sell? You know, is your question like, what would my business idea be, or what products should I sell? And I already know what my business idea is.
Okay. Well, how about the person that says, I'm not an expert in anything?
Okay.
Can they reverse engineer this? I know that I can make money building a course. How can they find out if there's a demand in, you know, a particular market or niche, and then educate themselves to become this educator, this, you know, course creator?
Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of sharing knowledge, really. And the more that you do it, the better you get at that. But if you're at the position where you're like, I don't even know what my business idea is, I like to think about it in like basically a little grid where you have a one end of the spectrum, you have what you're passionate about, and you have a bunch of things you're passionate about. So you can just list out like 20 things and think, I'm really passionate about these things. It could be that, you know, it's like fitness, relationships, you know, you just like be broad and just brainstorm ideas. It could be that you're interested in like email marketing, which is a really high value skill, copywriting, that kind of stuff. It could be that you're interested in eating pizza, you know, and football. So you can weed through this list basically and narrow it down to 3 ideas, I would say, that you just look at. If you looked at that list, you're like, okay, eating pizza, like, let's be realistic. Is that something like that people would pay? I mean, there are people who do like ASMR, so like you could, but like, you know, it's really up to you. Because basically like the grid is, it's your perfect business idea comes down to the intersection of something you find valuable that you could just nerd out on for 10 years straight easily. And it's where that meets with what a lot of people find valuable. And if people find it valuable and it's something you're really interested in, then you have a really good business idea, and that's something you can pursue.
Yeah, I think it was on Millionaire University. It was talking about how 40 or 50 hours of concentrated study on YouTube on a particular niche, and you are an expert on at least one process that somebody else could benefit from, and then you can start at least a side hustle. And I think it was Salvatore Stefano on your show was talking about how he didn't choose entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship chose him. Is this something that people are just called to? Is this something that maybe they're just looking for an out from their W-2? Who are your customers, and what do you find that's common about them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like how I was, you know, I was in a job and I just really, I mean, the life coaching stuff really helped me, and just my own kind of soul searching of asking the question of what do I really want? And that's a hard question for a lot of people to answer, because programming, you know, we're taught to like, this is what you do, this is how you do it. And then when you ask people that question, they kind of freeze. But I thought about quitting multiple times, for example, and every time I thought about like going to the military, becoming a firefighter, or something else is just like a simple job. My life would be a lot more simple probably. But I know that no matter what I did, if I didn't stay this path, I would feel something in my gut that says you're not in the right place. And I just know that because I've done a lot of that inner work and asked myself those questions. And there's a really good TED talk about careers, and I can't remember who the guy's name. He unfortunately passed away at a really young age, but I think he had some sort of accident. He's a total adventurer guy. But he asked this question of what's the work that you can't not do? The work that you can't not do. And for me, that's like this. It's helping people with this. And you really have to be the type of person where like entrepreneurship does kind of choose you, I feel, and you are an entrepreneur when you go into this. And you just have to really want to help people. And it's like, we obviously want to make money, but being able to detach from just make money. And I really want to help people, but I'm still going to charge, of what I'm worth. And when I made that shift of like, I was just trying to get clients and get money and stuff, and that shift into, I just want to help more people. Then the way I presented myself in conversation was like, I'm trying to help you. And then it got to the point of like, how do I work with you? And I'm like, well, here's how much it is. So I still had that offer. It wasn't just working with people for free, but just the energy of, I just want to help more people. And you have to have that sort of energy, and that you want to teach people some way to better their life. It's not just making money. Like, of course we want to make money, but I think a lot of people get into this sort of niche with coaching and stuff, and they don't have that servant leadership sort of attitude towards it. And just like, they see people as dollar signs, and that's going to really harm you in the long run, because it really is just about having that real like hunger to help other people.
Okay, so somebody wants to get started, and what are they start producing content, YouTube preferably, because it's evergreen and people can find it whenever they need to. There are other platforms as well, podcasting, and did they need to? Is it better for them to do as many of these platforms as they can? All the social media, and start a blog. I mean, it seems like that's a lot of work. Is there a lot of front end work here that needs to be done before they can build this course?
There's a couple things. To answer the question with content, I was in that position. I was posting everywhere because that's what I heard. That's what the gurus told me, of like content, post as much as you can on as many platforms as you can, and just do it. Meanwhile, they have whole teams of people that do all this for them. So all they have to do is just talk to a camera, and the rest is taken care of. As little guys like us, we don't have a big team or something. We're just kind of solopreneur style. We have to be more strategic with what we do and how much time we put into it, because content was a full-time job just to do that for me. And that's where I found out that like my YouTube channel, because I was experimenting with that, it was bringing in leads, building my email list totally passively, and it was even people were booking calls with me. That's where it led to my first course sales. I was making thousands of dollars from my tiny channel of like 200 subscribers. And I was like, okay, double down on what works. This makes more sense. But I think if you could really invest time into something, it would be like really focus on an evergreen platform and expect it to take time to build, to experiment, to learn that. I would say YouTube is the best, because it's video marketing, it's evergreen. And even if you make YouTube videos and didn't even make blog posts, your YouTube videos will still show up in Google searches, because Google owns YouTube. They're like, people also ask drop-down menu. If that's a question that someone's looking for on like how to bench press or whatever, they click the drop down, a YouTube video will pop up in that drop down menu, and YouTube videos will pop up even before top ranking Google posts, which is wild. So they're really pushing YouTube, which is why it's an amazing platform to be on. I do very minimal social media. If I do, I'm getting people on my podcast, because my podcast leads to a ton of opportunity. So this is just stuff that I've learned personally, because like me speaking with you right now, I invited you to come onto my podcast. We had a really cool conversation. I loved that topic, or just the whole talk, by the way, and your story and everything. And then you get to share something with the world, with your audience as well. I get to put something, we created something together. And that's really my audience, is like creators. And we get to do it because I am one as well. And then that can lead to opportunities where sometimes people work with me through my podcast, or even I get to present on other people's stages. Like tomorrow I'm talking to another group, and I get on other people's podcasts and stuff. And then I'm always offering my lead magnet. And now I have a podcast which has SEO, which is evergreen, and I get calls booked and, new opt-ins to my list and all that stuff from my own podcast and from being on other people's shows. So if you're going to focus on something, do evergreen. And that's what I would really recommend. I think starting a podcast of your own is great, especially when it's interview style, because that creates a ton of opportunity. And it's something that I wish I leveraged more. And just like using it as a networking tool more than anything, because that's led to so many great opportunities. And then focus on YouTube, because I'm not posting. I rarely post on social media. And when I stopped doing that, my business actually grew a lot more, which is kind of ironic. So yeah, I would say, that'd be the best way to focus on it.
Well, yeah, plus YouTube can be its own revenue source without anyone going, into the funnel.
Yeah.
But I think it was your episode with Kelsey March. We were talking about simplicity and systems, and your website is a perfect example of simplicity. I do know that a few associates, David Beret from Military Millionaire, he started off with a blog. He's got this huge website and all this information, and a huge Facebook Facebook group, all dedicated to educating a certain audience. And then he's also got courses and the mastermind and all this other stuff. But on the flip side, you have a website and it essentially is one page, and it directs the visitor to. It simply says, if you want more, and enter your email here. I'll send you the lead magnet, and then you'll get some emails telling you what's going to happen next. And it's very simple. In fact, you were talking about the email organization CRM, and you mentioned on that same episode a great tool you use for you have different tabs for Calendly, and
Toby. It's a free Toby, Toby. It's a free Toby Chrome extension. So it's free. You just go to your extensions on a Chrome browser, type in Toby, or you can always go to I think gettoby.com. I think is the website, but just type it in, you'll find it. And it's a really cool tool. And I learned this when I was because I was doing productivity coaching, which has helped me now because it still follows my same beliefs of like, let's grow our income and make money, and let's have time to spend with our family. I took a trip to Sweden recently for 2 weeks, and I made the decision, because I always would bring my laptop with me. I made the decision that I'm not going to take my laptop. I'm not going to take anything. I'll have my phone with me, and I'm taking a book. And I took Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. So it was kind of work related, but I like to just nerd out on this stuff, and it was relaxing for me. It's just, and plus it helped me with something I am working towards, but I didn't do any like calls or any like writing or content creation. I did nothing. I just hung out with my family. When I came back, I made $8,000 and was just like, wow, that was amazing. So it's just the power of systems, working fewer hours. And Toby's been a really helpful tool with that. Basically, what people do is they have like 20 plus tabs open on their computer and like 5 windows. And the less we have to focus on, the more focused we're going to be, the greater our focus will be. If there's less stuff, it's more streamlined, like the flashlight to the laser beam. You become more of a laser beam. And with Toby, I like that you can create collections. So I organize my collections based on certain tasks. For example, when I'm doing interviews, I have how many? I probably have like 5 tabs under the interview collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. And it's my interview questions. I have my Zoom link to like get on the meeting, the Calendly, so I can see what like their bio is to introduce them, my podcasting platform, my email, and then I have an email template as well. That's because I was sending the same freaking email. So I'm like, I'm just going to make a template. I can just change their name and I'm good, because it's just like, hey, you're published. Here's how you share it. So I made a little template for that, but all I have to do is open up the collection, which is a little drop-down menu that says interviews, and there's a little button that opens up all the tabs in the right order because I've organized them. And then I can just, 2 seconds or 5 seconds before an interview, I can be in the meeting fully set up and ready to go. And I'm like, cool, I'm done. So it's just, there's that, but then I have another collection about content and then enrollment or clients. So if I'm doing client calls, I organize for a day, then I'll just open up the clients tab and I can just hang out in there the whole day, and I'll have to move things around for different clients and that sort of stuff. But it just keeps it really focused and streamlined and really simple, because that's how I like to be. I like to just sit down, be efficient with my work, and then be done, so I can feel good about what I did for the day. And then I can hang out with my girlfriend or my family or friends or whatever it is, and I can just chill for the rest of the day, which I think is a challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, if you didn't just say it was free, I would ask for your affiliate link. Uh, but
That's free.
I was also just laughing a moment ago about how ironic it is that I'm blind and I have the worst shiny object syndrome. I'm so ADD and so distractible that productivity is one of my toughest lessons to learn. I love the fact that you keep your content simple. You've got your podcast, you have your YouTube channel, and pretty much all roads lead to your lead magnet, and then that's where your funnel leads into the courses and the coaching and all of that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, and it's important because like I heard this example from Greg Faxon, actually, that one coach. Such a smart guy. I love that guy. But I actually, for so many things I've learned from him to like things that I'll share and teach, just because he was so impactful. But he used this example of hunting versus gathering, or hunting versus gardening. And when you think about a garden, you don't just like plant in the tree and you're good to go. Like it takes time for fruit and vegetables to come out of the garden. But then, like my girlfriend has a little garden, and we have so many freaking tomatoes, it's insane. So she makes a bunch of like, she's making salsa and all these different things that we can do with tomatoes to make food, and like pastas or things like that. And we're using the food and like zucchinis and cucumbers and all these different things in there. But it took time to nurture it. And she's out there every day watering it, watering her plants, tending to them, checking on them and everything. And it takes nurturing and time. And then it gets to a point where it's like, it's just coming off like everywhere, it's just like vegetables all galore. So that's like the gardening aspect. And we think about that when it comes to our business too, like YouTube, for example, or content and just getting your name out there. Like it's not going to happen overnight. There are things that you can do to blow up videos, and there's strategies and whatnot that can make videos grow a lot faster. Which I'm trying to perfect. I have my own YouTube coach, and I'm on a mission to just like crack that code and make it simple so I can share it with my audience. And I've learned a lot already, but it takes time, and it's just a long game. And that's why that's like our gardening aspect. And then there's the hunting piece, which is, if you think about hunting, it's very laborious. We have to get out there, and it's a lot of action that we have to take, but we can get food, theoretically a lot faster. Hunting can take a while, but you can get like a whole elk, for example, and then you can go eat that for a couple of days. So that's like getting clients, basically, is the hunting piece. And it takes, effort to do that. It's like you can do that for the rest of your life, but then you have to scale at some point. You have to raise your prices more. You have to hire team members, which now adds extra costs and complexity into your business. And, in the beginning, you have to hunt. Like, there's no getting around it. You can start your garden, which the sooner you start your garden, which is like the lead magnet, the emails, the system side, over time, next thing you know, you're going to be making, passive income. And you're like, wow, I'm getting all this fruit, all these vegetables coming, all this money coming into my business, and I don't really have to put in a ton of effort. I don't have to hunt people all the time. And it's just a really cool feeling. So the sooner you can start gardening, the better. In the meantime, you can start hunting as well. And that's why everything on my website and everything, if you hear me teach on my YouTube videos, like if I'm on a podcast, everything, it's like I'm talking about my lead magnet or lead magnets, because I have different ones, but they all lead to the same thing, which is my funnel. And the funnel leads to my program, which I'm very proud of. And then they can buy the program. You know what I mean? So that's why everything you like, when you get the system set up, all you really have to do is just focus on adding value to more people, speak on stages, podcasts, whatever it is, YouTube videos, and just always be promoting your free thing that should be very valuable for people as well. So it's all really based around value.
Yeah, now you just got me thinking about fresh grown vegetables. I'm a food guy. Just
foodie.
Just having a conversation with somebody about how different it tastes when it's grown naturally in your backyard, or
it's like candy. She has little cherry tomatoes, and it's wild.
Yeah, okay, I would totally go off a tangent on that, but no, you were talking about this lead magnet, and you're getting into the content once you've got the email address or the whatever the uh, contact information you need. I'm guessing is mostly email lists, so you can start sending direct emails. And you also talk, I mean, this is a what you're describing is passive. The gardening versus the hunting is passive prospecting versus active prospecting. And once you get the email and you start sending, you've got a automated number of emails that just come, and then you offer that next step in the funnel.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is it the video course? Is it the coaching, or is it, do you have a catalog, a menu of items once you've got them on your email list?
Right. So it's a great question. If you have one product, like you're just going to promote the one product. Even if you have multiple products, you promote one at a time. But the way I like to think about it is, you can get really kind of fancy with this, basically, of like people have different entry points. So let's say you have two different products, and I have a productivity course, but I want to revamp it and kind of simplify it and shorten it down to make it and kind of rebrand it, basically. So I have like my passive income course, and then I have my productivity course. So I can have a lead magnet for my productivity stuff, and then I have lead magnet for my passive income stuff. If people opt in to a lead magnet for my productivity stuff, then I can tailor the email sequence to that. But then a period of time, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, maybe 30 days later, that automatically can kickstart a new email sequence that promotes now the productivity or the passive income course. Okay, so first, if they opted in for the productivity stuff, it's going to promote that productivity program with the email sequence and little funnel for that and a sales page and everything. And then a period of time after, it's going to automatically start the passive income side. And same vice versa. If they opt in for the passive income stuff, they're not going to get the productivity course just yet. They're first going to go through the process of like, here's the passive income product. And then a couple weeks, 30 days later, then it will kickstart the other email funnel and system. But you should focus on one at a time, but that's like where you can get more fancy with it. And then if you add like another product, you can add a new email sequence afterwards, and then another one. If you have 5 products, you can have people going through this system, just everybody goes through it over a long period of time, and it's constantly making offers for you. And that's how you just create this compounding offers, really, and value that you're giving to people. But the email sequence is really simple. It's a 5-part email sequence. And I learned this from Graham, who learned it from Meet Sethi. Really, really simple. And I like that because people think that, okay, if someone opts in, now I have to have this 30-day email sequence where I'm emailing them every single day, and it has to be like these crazy emails and all this stuff. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be. It can be 5 days, which is a great product or great size email sequence, if you will. If you have a really sophisticated product that's like $2,000 or something like that, or $1,000, you might need more emails, or you need a workshop to go into it to really lead with the value. But if it's just like a $100 product or $200 or something like that, which can give you some awesome income, then 5 days, like, beautiful. So the first day we teach, and this is like someone opts in, they see your content online, they opt in for your free thing. The first day, which happens one day after they opt in, and you can set this up in any email builder. It's really simple. It says, when do you want this to send? One day after someone opts in. Then it's just teaching them something related to your product. And it's always, congruency is huge. So it has to be related to the product. An example with me with passive income, the first email I send is about the smart way to build digital products. And it teaches them a story about how to think about building digital products and how to create like minimum viable products. So start with a $50 to $100 course at first, and then get people in the door with a lower price point, because that's much easier to invest in, get their feedback, and then beef it up. And down the road, you can have a $500 program. And it's just a beefed up version of this initial product, And I go into that whole strategy. And then the second email, we're going to teach again. Okay, so we're just adding value, and you can have an action step. It should be something that's like they can act on that day. Quick wins are huge, like your lead magnet again. It solves a persistent problem, gets them a quick win. the first email should get them a quick win. Because when you're getting quick wins, you're getting like dopamine, you're getting pride inside of yourself of like, yes, I'm doing stuff. It's like, just if it's something simple, like write your vision out or check your credit report or something, whatever it is related to what it is that you're teaching. I work with a credit guy, that's why I said that. And at the second email, you're going to do the same thing. It's just about building trust and getting them to like opening your emails and being like, wow, this is like fun to read and it's valuable. And it can also be a video inside as well. If you'd rather do video, doesn't matter as long as you're adding value. And then the third day is where we start transitioning into the pitch, into like sales and stuff like that. And I know people have some weird feelings around sales, but the email 3, you're going to teach again. And then at some point in the back half, you're going to transition into being like, basically, if you've liked my emails up until this point, you're going to love this product. I created a real streamlined system, a program that walks you through how to do this. If you want extra support, if you like these emails, like something along those lines to transition into it. It's like, here's what you're going to get. And just give them a quick little introduction to your product. That's on email 3 or day 3. Day 4, the next day, we're going to go straight into a pitch. And I like to title this in the subject line of like, what's inside, name of course. And people look at it and it's like, hey, yesterday I introduced you to this product. I'm going to give you a full rundown basically. So I say like who this is for, describe my ideal audience or ideal customer, who this is not for, describe my not ideal customer, and just give them like a full rundown of what's inside of it. Say, hey, this is really cool bonus inside of here that you can get. Like, I'm really proud of this. You're just explaining and just informing them of what's inside of this and describing who it's for and who it's not for. And then email 5 is the last email. And this is where I like to do like a case study of like, hey, I've been talking about this program. Just wanted to share a really quick story of someone who went through it and got some awesome results. And you just explain the story like they were here before, they did this, they were able to achieve this. And it's very tangible, and the better your case studies, obviously, the more impactful that's going to be. And then, you just basically say to check out the program again. And it's really just like inviting people. I think that's the big thing. I've been doing this for like 5 years now. And I started out as life coach, and it's not like 5 years of doing the business side. I think it's been about 2 years of doing this stuff. But I've tried a ton of stuff like cold DMs, I've tried hiring ad agencies, I've tried workshops, I've tried in-person, tried networking events, like so much stuff to try and figure out like how to make money and get clients and make it consistent and fun. So I don't want to just do it. Like I want to have fun doing this. And one of the things that has really, I just noticed a couple things like in all the trainings and everything I've gotten to just getting clients, and really what this system is just automating this whole process. But it's something I call connect, inspire, invite. And I think that just sums up like how you get clients. Like people make it really complicated, and it's actually really simple. You just have to find a way to connect with people and just connect with them. It's like dating too. Like you just connect with someone, you're like, hey, strike up a conversation, or hey, I saw you over there, just want to introduce myself and get to know you. And then inspire, which is where you get them inspired about what you do. You're explaining what you do and just talking about what you do and how it can work for them. I think that that's really a big piece, because when I talk with people and I explain whether they're in like trying to start a plumbing business or they want to teach plumbing online, or they want to teach fitness or marketing or relationships or whatever, I use examples of like a lead magnet that they could use. I talk about what they can cover inside of their email sequence and what kind of product they could build. It's sort of, and I was just painting the picture and the content that they could create. And when they see that, they get inspired. They're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I feel like I could do that. And that's a big piece. Like a great teacher isn't just telling you stuff to do. It's encouraging you and making you feel like you can do it. And that's an inspiration. So it gets them inspired. And then when people are inspired and you've connected with the people that you can help, you've inspired them, then you just have to invite them. So a lot of people will go wrong and get frustrated. They're not making any money. And the whole time what they're doing is just connecting with people and inspiring them. I mean, like, cool. All right, I'll see you later. And then it's like they never invite them. And it's like now you're just coaching people for free, which is fine, if that's what you want to do. But if you want to make money, like you have to invite people to the next step. It's like if you're just going on first dates and the person, like a girl is sitting in front of you and she's like you could tell she's like wanting you to be like, let's go on another date, or like, let's go do something else, whatever it is. And then you don't do it. It's like, you're not going to get anywhere with that. So you have to be able to invite people to take the next step and always have a next step for them. And that's really what I'm doing. Like in my content, I connect with them because they found my video in my YouTube video or found me online. And then I'm inspiring them with the content, getting them to think differently. And I'm inviting them to pick up my lead magnet, which is going to be beneficial for them. In the emails, I'm connecting with them every time I send them an email. I'm inspiring them if I'm doing my job right in the emails. And they're like, wow, this is so cool. I feel like I can do this. And then I'm inviting them to check out my program. And it's the same thing when I'm talking with people in a live event, connect with them. I'm at the event with them. We're talking, we're connecting. And I'm saying like, this is what I do. Here's how it can work for you. They get inspired and all lit up and like, wow, this is so cool. I'm interested. I'm asking you questions about how this can work. You know, they're asking me. And then I just invite them to be like, hey, let's hop on a longer call and we can sit down. I'll just talk with you for an hour. And then on that call, we're connected. I inspire them more. And then I invite them. But the invite this time is, here's how much it is to work with me. Here's what it looks like. Do you want to move forward? You know, I'm inviting them. And I think that just the word invite is a lot nicer than saying like, I'm trying to sell you. You know, it's like, it sounds like an attack. Invite is like, let's do something cool together. Cool. It's going to cost some money, but like, I got your back and I'm here to support you. And I think that those are the things that have really helped me in just being a better business owner.
I like that connect, inspire, invite. It's similar in the same vein as people like to do business with other people they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
Or are credit card owned.
True
that. But when it comes to like the funnel, the lead magnets, you're producing the free content, and then you've got the lead magnet, and you connect, inspire, and invite, and you have customers come on board with your course, and maybe there's a number of ways to do that. You know, you start with something small, maybe upsell in the sales process. If you like this one, just add another course for another $47, or maybe a discounted rate right now. Or you once they complete the course, here's the next step. There's all sorts of different combinations you can do that. But what I noticed with a lot of these course creators is that the next evolution, the next plateau, the next level is the coaching. And you coach also. Mm-hmm. But this is another thing that seems maybe paradoxical to me, is that all of this up to that point is to be more passive, right? You create one piece of information, piece of content, and put it out online, and then you don't have to create that again. And that you create the course, and they can buy that. You don't have to create that again, but it's evergreen, so long as the funnel continues intact. But then when I'm saying that the ultimate goal is to get coaching clients, but that requires your time individually. Is that a paradox, or how does that work?
It's really optional for you. I'm not at the stage of my business where I'm fully passive yet. Like, that is a goal. But even if I, when I get there, where I am like fully passive, where I could just sell products, I like coaching people, because people get really good results. Like, people can get great results when you make a transformative course, and there's ways that you can do that, because a lot of people just slap a course together and throw it, and they're really good at marketing, and then they sell it, and then people are like, this content's actually not that great. It's not even fun, and then they forget about it. But if you take the time to make like really good products, which you should, and get people really good transformation, like, that can theoretically do your coaching for you. But I like coaching people. I like having conversations with people. I like having the option. Like, I was in Sweden, and I could go away and still make money. Wow. How cool is that? But I really enjoy working with people. And when you have a good product or products and good product suite and all that stuff, you can charge a lot more for your coaching too, because like your programs are really good. And then people can work with you privately. I like the hybrid approach. I feel like a lot of people think it has to be one or the other, like all low ticket, all like just programs, or it's like only high ticket. That's the only way. It's like, no, there's not. Just help people. There's different ways that you can help people. They can take your program. Like, my course is everything I do with people one-on-one, just is self-paced. It's a lot more affordable than working with me one-to-one. And then my one-to-one, they're going to get way better results faster because I can review every piece of the puzzle that they're creating with them along the way. I can give them feedback. I can challenge ideas. I can say, maybe that's not the best kind of lead magnet you can make, and I can be more forward with them, if you will, to help them. So and passive income too isn't really passive. Like, you can get to a point where you can probably stop creating content, like making YouTube videos and all that stuff. You should be making a new YouTube video every week, but that's how you feed the beast. Is you just keep creating content. You have to get out there, speak on stages, like all this sort of stuff. And yeah, if you stop though, even if you did stop making YouTube videos and you had a huge following, really tons of content, eventually you're going to have to start making content again. You can't just stop, but you can ride off of all that hard work you put on for a while, but passive income isn't like truly passive. And that's just a truth with passive income. It still takes ongoing work, but it can take a lot less work than you grinding all the time doing calls. And it takes time to build the system. And then over time, once you have the system built, then you can start to have less and less engagement with it down the road. But you still have to create content at a bare minimum. But that only takes it could take you 30 minutes or an hour a week if you're just making content. Like a mentor of mine, Graham Cochran, like he does coach people. He has a community where he'll go in and coach. That's like once a month. And then he has like a 5-hour work week because he's at the point now where he can just like chill, It's like 5 hours a week and he makes $1 million a year plus. So it's wild. But no, you're still going to have to like do work. It's just you're going to do a lot less work than you would be in the beginning.
Yeah. Even though your YouTube videos are out there forever, unless you take them down, the algorithm, it knows when you're creating more content or you're getting the kind of engagement. What it does, if you create the new content, it will offer some of your older content up for like in the playlist for those who to keep people engaged. But then on the flip side, if you stop creating that content and you stop engaging, you anger the almighty algorithm, and it kind of hides.
It sees you as irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah, it sees you as irrelevant, and it kind of hides your content. So I totally understand, and you could be active in your passive pursuits. So creating more YouTube engagement, creating more YouTube content, and you can create that quote unquote passive pursuit so that you can develop that your active passion, that stuff, like you mentioned earlier, the things that you can't not do. And if for you, it's, I'm guessing, the coaching. That's what you love to do, and the building this funnel is bringing the coaching clients to you while also creating that slightly less active, not quite passive income with the courses. I think this is all fantastic information. Where can people find out more about you, about Profit Your Knowledge, and how they can get started on their own funnel and course creation?
Right. Yeah. So first, obvious, the best one, if you're really serious about like, how does this all work? How to put the system together? I made a 5-step guide that walks you through, breaks it down step by step. Even if you don't know what your business idea is, that's the first step. Figure out, profitable business idea. It walks you through the components of that. And then like lead magnet, email sequence, product, like all the pieces, I put it in there, and you can get that. It's a really quick guide. Earn your first $500 per month of passive income, 5 simple steps. Just go to profityourknowledge.com/guide. You can always just check out my website too, profityourknowledge.com. It's going to point you to the guide anyway. And then if you really want to dive in, learn more about what I'm doing, test the waters more, just check out my YouTube channel, Profit Your Knowledge on YouTube. And that's the best way.
Fantastic. James, I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast. And want to ask you, is there anything we missed? Is there anything else you want to share while I still got the mic?
I would say like just a little like nugget, food for thought, is that you have to be patient. Just if you go down this business model, like be patient with it. You can get clients faster by working with them one-on-one, but focus on building the right kind of skills first. And I wish that like I put more time into focusing on skills like talking to a camera, presenting well, and copywriting. Like those things are the skills that are high value skills that are going to pay off, especially with this type of business model. Because if you're making YouTube videos, you got to talk to a camera. Theoretically, you could just do a podcast. You could just do a blog. I'd recommend YouTube, but I know not everybody wants to do that. But just presenting well, speaking well, delivering content and teaching, and then the copywriting piece, like your emails, your lead magnet, your sales page, all of that is copywriting. It's persuasive writing. And if you could learn that and get better at it, I've invested thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours into copywriting, and I still have so much to learn, but I've gotten a lot better over the years. That will really help you, because when you get a sales page and email sequence and you have good copy, it's good enough, you can literally make passive income. It's really that simple. It's just putting it into this system. So using the guide, learning copywriting. I have a bunch of videos where I talk about copywriting, but learn those skills and they're going to pay off really well for you.
Or you could just do ChatGPT, Jasper, Synthesia.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can tell when people I can tell right away when people write in ChatGPT because they use too big of words, and like you have to have at least a good knowledge of copywriting to review what ChatGPT does. It can definitely help for like a good foundation to get started if you're stuck with ideas and stuff. But I think that people should write their own copy, and it's going to make it a lot better and more authentic. And that's what really makes it shine compared to the other, ChatGPT copy.
Yeah, ChatGPT always reminds me of those, what was it, the Family Guy with the foreigners that speak really great English, but you can tell they're just off. Yeah. We're going out to the pub for a couple pints and talk to young ladies.
Right.
Yeah, RMFE, rolling with fake guys. Anyways, I appreciate all your time, James, and sharing your knowledge. And I'm glad you came on the show.
Thank you, man.
All right, take care.